a good ball played in for Tony Morley. Oh, he missed it! It is! Peekaboo! Villa in the lead!
Hello, Aston Villa fans, and welcome to the Villa Forever podcast. I am your host, Chad Williams. Please make sure to subscribe and give this video the thumbs up. Make sure to hit the like button. I'm joined by my special guest, Gregg Evans, who is a writer for The Athletic, and he appears on the 1874 podcast with Dan Bardell, and my Monday show regular, Aaron Thornton, who is the host of the Football Brief, will be on the show with me, and I'm very happy. And as an Aston Villa fan, there are so many positives at the moment. I'll be doing a pre-match talk show, the Champions League episode, then after Aston Villa getting through into the FA Cup quarter-final, beating Cardiff City 2-0, thanks to 2 goals from Marco Asensio, and Aston Villa are 90 minutes away from a return to Wembley, and they have got Preston in the FA Cup quarter-final. But Aston Villa focus their attention on Champions League football. On Tuesday, it's a 5:45 p.m. kickoff in the last 16, first leg. The last time the sides met, Aston Villa lost 1-0. But this time, we are looking for a better result. It's great to have both of you on the show. How are we today?
Very good, thanks, mate.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Chad. Thanks for having me on. And sorry, I can't view my show you my face at the moment. Technical problems.
That's what I am at the moment. I mean, I'm feeling very positive as a Villa fan. And I can't believe we are 90 minutes away from Wembley. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, I'll let Greg speak, 'cause I know he's on a timer. I'll let you go first, mate.
Okay, thanks, Aaron. Yeah,
No worries.
it's an amazing. It's turning into an amazing season, I think, for Villa. I feel like they have the opportunity now to go and do really what a lot of supporters have been hoping for a long time now, and win a trophy. And it feels like the Nassif Sawiris and Wezid and Zira is just lacking that trophy now, because it's been such an amazing journey over the last 6 or 7 years under these owners. And their plan every year is to improve, is to get better, and to see that the club is moving in the right direction. And I think if Villa were to win the FA Cup, or perhaps even the Champions League, which is going to be much tougher, but still a chance, it will give supporters and the club that recognition, I think, that they really need.
I think with the FA Cup, I think we've got a real good chance. You look at that already. I mean, Liverpool are out the competition. The holders, Man United, were knocked out last night. And now you've got the likes of, you've got Bournemouth in there. You've got Aston Villa. You've got like Brighton in there. So I think every team that they are in with a chance. And Man City are the only big team that are left in the competition.
Yeah, I agree. I think I totally agree with everything that Greg just said then. I think for Villa to be in the mix for a trophy would be massive achievement, and would be the accumulation of the last sort of 5-6 years of the era of our owners. And yeah, I mean, when the draw happened yesterday, I was convinced we were going to get Man City away, and when we drew Preston, it was like, oh, could this be our season? Look, no games are given. Preston. I've got a friend who's a Preston fan, and I know they're in the league below, but just evidence from the Cardiff game, they came with a low block and they were tough to break down. So I think it's not a given, but it just gives us a really good opportunity to get back to Wembley and have a good day out. So I'm optimistic, if I'm being honest. I'm optimistic, but I'm also respectful and wary of Preston.
I think it is FA Cup. If Villa want to win this competition, in my opinion, with Uno Emery, I think this season is the best chance we've got.
Yeah, it certainly feels that way, doesn't it, with the teams that are left? I was waiting for the draw to be announced yesterday, and when I seen that Villa got Preston, it felt that like the stars were starting to align almost for Villa, because you look at the teams that have disappeared from this competition now, and the three teams, if I was Villa, that I wouldn't want to face would be Liverpool, Arsenal, and Newcastle away. But all of those are out of the competition now, and the two real difficult games I think that would have been left would be Manchester City, just because of their years of experience winning this trophy and going far into it, and the quality that they have in their team, but also Crystal Palace, because it just that feels like a mismatch for Villa. They have a team that seems to get the better of them. I felt that if Villa were to get Brighton, for example, who are higher up in the table than Palace, they seem to be a team that they can play better against. They've got the beating of them for various reasons of playing styles. So yeah, to get Preston was fantastic. And as Aaron said, you don't want to be disrespectful to the opponent, but if Villa don't get through that, you'd be really disappointed.
Yeah. All right, I mean, Crystal Palace, I do want to avoid that if we did get through to the semis. That's the only thing I probably would be more wary about.
Yeah, and look, it's the semi-final would be a different matchup now, because I think it would have been harder in the quarterfinals, potentially going to Selhurst Park. But if you play Crystal Palace at Wembley, it's a different setup. So perhaps it might be a little bit easier.
With our league form, I think the way we're going in the league, the FA Cup, we really put a run together. So we've got a chance like anybody else. We just even a chance with the other teams.
Yeah, I think as well, like you say, I think the league, hopefully this can give us a bit more momentum in the league, because I think it's sort of coinciding with players now coming back. Kamara's on the bench against Cardiff, and I know Pau Torres has put a post up about him being back on the grass and training, and I think Barkley's not far away, Onana. So like, sort of like what Greg was saying about the stars aligning, I think a crucial time to see players are coming back. League form is important. We want to be as high as we can, and hopefully with the FA Cup run and a decent Champions League run, if we we do well against Bruges, then there's nothing to say we can't push on in the league. We really need to start picking up points now, because we're starting to drift slightly.
It's all to play for. Just talk about Cardiff City. So Aaron, what is your thoughts on Cardiff City game?
Well, first and foremost, I was just ecstatic with the clean sheet. I think I tweeted, I just put clean sheet finally.
Let's celebrate.
Honestly, I'm so that's my biggest bugbear this season. That's the big thing with the league. Even if we do start to pick up points and we start to go on a bit of a run, amazing. But our goal difference is really, really worrying right now. And I think if it came to if it came down to goal difference, it'd be so frustrating. So clean sheet, I was happy with, and I was happy that we broke them down after a long hour or so. We managed to break them down eventually, so that was pleasing. And just to get the win, and seeing Rashford and Asensio again, just getting more minutes, looking stronger. It was the perfect sort of victory after that disappointing result against Palace. So I was very happy.
And a clean sheet. Let's get the party poppers.
Yeah, I know, mate. I don't know what Greg thinks, but it's been a bit of a. It's been. I know we've had different partnerships at the back, but overall, I think we've just not been great defensively. And Martinez he's made some outstanding saves, but then some also not so good saves, and it's just not been great, has it really?
Yeah, I think it's a strange. It's difficult to analyse. I think this season Villa have got much tougher games because of the Champions League run. So they're under pressure almost every game because of the quality of opposition they're playing against. So that takes its toll. I think Martinez isn't saving Villa as many points as he has done in previous seasons. So that's playing a part. Yeah, as you say, Aaron, so many combinations in defence. You look back to the Emery's first year when Villa got to finish 7th and they had that brilliant run at the end of the season, and it was Mings and Konza. The two of them, they looked brilliant together. Mm-hmm. And then last season, Konza and Torres had their little partnership going, and you just haven't seen either one of those partnerships. So you've got players that are playing next to each other who don't really know each other's movement, and these fine margins in the Premier League and the Champions League make a big difference because that's when teams punish you. So I think, and then to add on top of all that, you've got Kamara, who I think is Villa's most best defensive midfielder, has been missing for a fair period as well.
So we Torres.
And I don't think Torres is the strongest defender at Villa, but I do think the role that he plays makes a big difference because he can play at the higher line, and the passes that he makes breaks opponents down in a different way. Yeah. And it just completely alters the way that Villa play when he plays. So they've had to change a lot, which perhaps is the reason why they've conceded so often. But yeah, it's something they need to address because at this point in time, I'd say Villa are the most unpredictable team in the division. Okay. You can go and fail to beat a 10-man Ipswich, but then beat Chelsea and almost beat Liverpool for the first time.
Inconsistency.
And that's why they're 10th, isn't it? That's what, if you're a mid-table team, it means you win as many as you lose, pretty much. So that's why they're the most. They need to fix the inconsistency, and that will help. But there's the possibility of going on a good run now, and that's going to be what they need.
Let's talk about Omar Ghazi. It's great that he got such a great reception. I do not say, Greg, I really enjoyed the episode you did with Dan Bardell with Omar Ghazi. Such a great guest to have.
Yeah, thanks, Chad. Yeah, it was great to get him on. I've built up a bit of a relationship with him over the years, and he helped me for the book that I've just written. One of the players I interviewed along the way. So yeah, it was good to get him on. He Villa meant a lot to him. Probably the most happiest he's been in his career. His son grew up in Birmingham, and he's a Villa fan. And the fact that he got to walk out with his kids was amazing. I couldn't think of a nicer feeling than that. If you're returning to your club. So yeah, and just good that Cardiff didn't win.
So we go back to the days of Dean Smith. I mean, Ghazi was a crucial player. He scored in the playoff final. Scores some important goals. And you look at Tyrone Mings and John McGinn. He was part of that team. And Greenish.
I think that's what's so nice about it. Sorry, Greg.
No, you carry on, Aaron. Sorry, after you.
I think that's what's so nice about it. The fact that, like, as a fan base, and we recognise that we wouldn't be where we are if it wasn't for the players like El Ghazi, Mings, McGinn, and for him to sort of have that, I guess, that sort of that proper goodbye and that sort of like appreciation of us saying to him, thank you. I think it was just a really nice moment. And like Greg was saying, coming out in, I think both his kids, one was in the Cardiff kit, one in the Villa kit, and got a lot of time for him. He actually, when I was living in Birmingham before I moved out here, he opened one of the new gym at my school when I worked there, and took the time to have a chat with me and did like a little video message to one of my friends. And I thought, you know what, like just a real down to earth, humble, nice guy. So really, really happy for him and just glad that he has been part of our club and getting us back to where we want to be. So yeah, good story for him.
Even the Premier League. He played a lot in the Premier League as well. And I always remember that substitution. That Trezeguet for El Ghazi.
Yeah.
It's always
yeah. I thought he was going to come on Saturday, on Friday as well. I was waiting for the Trezeguet to come on.
It's a nice way of wrapping it up, Aaron, and it's nice that you had that experience with him, because a lot of people that haven't spent time with him would not really understand what he's like, but you've clearly had a bit of time with him and understand that he's a top guy, and I think that's what he needed, the closure from Villa, because he didn't have that proper send off. So for Villa fans to be able to do that on a night where they progressed themselves and we're happy with the win, I think was good all round. Guys, I'm going to have to shoot just because I have another interview which I'm running late for. But thanks so much for letting me on, and I'm sorry.
Greg, thank you.
Pleasure to meet you, Greg, and I'm sure we'll chat again soon, mate.
Yeah, 100%.
I'll get you on soon.
Good luck, Chad. Sorry, say that again.
I'll get you on soon. I'll get you on.
Yeah. Anytime you need, mate. All right, just shout me.
Yeah, cheers, mate.
Take care.
Take care, Greg.
Bye.
In a bit, mate.
So, Aaron, let's talk about the Cardiff City game.
Yep.
So I think we had the majority of the play. We've been creating a lot of chances. But I have to say, credit to Cardiff City. They did set up well. We're playing 5 at the back. And we at times couldn't break them down. Because they had a lot of men behind the ball.
Yeah, I thought, spot on, Chad. I think, I didn't think. Look, you expected them to play that way because look, they're Cardiff City and they're in the Championship, and I know, I respect Cardiff City. I think they're a great football club, but they were going to struggle against us. So for them to set up as they did and for them to hold us for so long, I was impressed with them, and credit to them and the manager and their players, because they gave us a real tough time. We were struggling to break them down for a while, and I don't know if you noticed, but Tielemans at the start, I felt first half especially, he looked quite tired, he looked quite leggy, and they just did not give him time on the ball. And they were really quick to close him down. So I thought that was very good from their point of view. They identified the threat and they nullified it for the most part. But look, I was pleased that we kept persevering and we managed to break that low block, because we've struggled all season with this low block. So hopefully it gives these players a bit of experience and a bit of know-how with how to deal with these low blocks now.
Go with the low block. I know what you think, Aaron, but I think sometimes we should move the ball quicker. Especially that low block.
Yeah, and I think, you sort of made the point a few minutes ago talking about Pau Torres, and I do think that's one of his strengths when he plays. I think he's quite quick at breaking the lines with his passing, and then he sort of starts that move off. And I totally agree with you. I think in the last couple of months we've been a bit laboured with our passing. And look, I'm not one of these fans
predictable.
I'm not one of these fans that are like, we've got to pass it really quick and go. But you are spot on. I think it's been very predictable, and like it's sort of
sideways
game. Yeah, and sometimes it's valid, and sometimes we need to do that, and I respect that. But a lot of the time, it just sort of takes that sting out of the game, and we just need a bit more zip. So I agree with you, mate. I think we need to get better at doing that. And I think hopefully with Kamara coming back and Torres, maybe that'll happen, but we'll have to see.
A few times, Ghazi, he tried to get through in by the team, and there was one time I saw in the game that Ghazi was offside, but he looks on the shoulder. He looks to do that quite a lot.
Yeah, it was weird seeing him actually. You sort of like on the wing again, and like it was. I was just really like happy seeing him, and yeah, he was a threat. You know, we know what he can do, and again, our high line allows for that to happen, doesn't it? You know,
Yeah,
we sort of let the wingers come on a bit, and if they were gonna any sort of threat that they were gonna pose was looking likely to be through him. So,
oh,
um,
yeah,
you know, it's I saw it as a game of, again, no disrespect to Cardiff. I saw it as a bit of a
yeah,
game where we could sort of practice almost how to attack a low block, but also how to try and defend, and a bit of a warm up for Club Brugge coming up, and just sort of try and get the, new players used to the system, like your Garcia, um, Asensio, Rashford, Bogard to a point. I think it was good
yeah.
for those players to have the minutes. So yeah, I was happy overall, mate.
And what are you going to do, I think? You're going to be patient, and the patience, it paid off. We kept probing to find a
Yeah.
breakthrough.
Did you think? Oh, is this ever going to happen, or were you confident that we were going to score?
I was confident it was going to happen.
Yeah.
I knew it was only a matter of time that we was going to score.
Yeah. No, I
Yeah,
agree. Yeah, I think when with the attacking threat that we have, it would be almost criminal if we didn't score. Do you know what I was happy about, Chad? And we've spoken about this
yeah,
a few times the last few weeks. I was so
yeah.
happy that Morgan Rogers was on the bench and was having a rest.
Oh, yeah, he needed a rest.
Yeah, I
Good
think it was.
decision.
Yeah, yeah. I know he came on about the 82nd minute, but I think just to have him fresh for Club Brugge, I think was a good decision by Emery. So I was happy about that.
Let's talk about as well Marco Asensio, the Egypt in the game with pure quality. And every time he's played, he's been a real big influence.
Yeah, he's making a habit of popping up with important goals, isn't he? And I think that just shows the sheer class and elite status of the player. You know, he sort of drifts in game. In the last couple of games that he
Oh, yeah,
started, he's sort of just been drifting. He's been there, he's playing, but he's got a great
yeah.
touch and his passing and movements really good. But then he sort of goes a bit quiet. You don't notice him, and then all of a sudden, bang! And that for me, the sign of a real player when they can keep going
Yeah.
and they keep switched on for like 60 to 80 minutes, even though they're not really in the game as such. And yeah, what a difference! His finishing is so good. He's
Oh, first class.
he's a joy to watch, isn't he? And again, a brace in front of the whole end, and we're on our way. So yeah, really, really, he's proving to be a very, very good signing for us.
And what he does is Marco Asensio. He's got great awareness, and he gets himself in some great positions, right place, right time.
Yeah, he's got that really good. I always think the sign of a great sort of midfield player is those players that know how to hang back. So whenever you notice Rashford's down, him and Rashford have got this sort of this link up that they just know where each other are going
Yeah,
to be. And if you notice, whenever Rashford gets that ball on the left and he's cutting down the byline, Asensio he runs into the box, but he
yeah.
stops. He doesn't go all the way, and he
He's
drops
clever.
back towards the edge. And exactly, yeah, clever. And then Rashford knows where he's going to be. He just drops that ball back towards the edge and then bang. So his movement, like you say, is just phenomenal. And we've not had a player like that for a while. I think maybe arguably Grealish. I don't know. Maybe I'm probably missing someone there, but I think
Yeah.
someone who's got that ability to sort of hang back and just sort of being around that box, it's just a really good option to have. So
Because has he scored? 4 goals he scored now. How
4
many
goals.
goals he scored? Yeah.
Yeah.
Great record.
2 against Chelsea, 2 against Cardiff, and I think he's only started 3 games, 2 games, 3 games. I think that might have been his
Yes,
third
yeah,
start.
yeah. Marco
So
Asensio. I wonder what his wages are. Can you
oh
imagine he
gosh,
got him in a permanent? That's
yeah,
what
but I
I've thrown
think
a few players.
The good thing is, though, I mean, I don't know the players personally, and you would like to think, look, you likes of PSG and Manchester United, you know, where
Oh
Rashford and
yeah,
Asensio are from, they're going to get paid a lot more money because they can afford it. You would like to think their agents and these players understand if they want to come to Villa,
okay.
you're still going to get paid very handsomely, but it's not going to be
Mhm.
as much as you were on. So, like, and I
Think
think
of
a
what
big thing,
interest.
yeah, and a big thing for them is that if they really rate
Mhm.
Emery and they really like the project and they like Villa and they like
Yeah,
what he can do for them, then for me it's like, well, we've got a lot of money anyway. Like we're still going to be earning a lot of money. Don't get me wrong, but if it means dropping wages slightly to be part of a good team and to be coached properly, then for
yeah.
me as a normal human, that seems like a no brainer. But these players have egos, don't they? So I don't quite know. But you'd like to think, Chad, that they would drop wages maybe, but I don't know. These footballers,
Yeah.
they like money.
That's what it is when it comes down to money.
Yeah, which is fair.
And all the goals he scored, the fantastic finishes, the way I mean, he got like very good touches. Like also that second goal, the way he controls it, then bang.
Yeah, like he had to like adjust his body, didn't he? Because it was almost at a bit of a weird angle for him. So he quickly adjusted. Sorry, I'm moving all over the screen now. I'm being Asensio for a minute, and he sort of quickly adjusted, and then just bang. He was so quick. He doesn't give the goalkeeper time to really, get his feet adjusted. So yeah, yeah, he just oozes class, doesn't he? The moment he first came
He
on as a
does.
sub against Tottenham, and he was doing that touch and that back heel for Rogers, like that first bit of play that he
Oh
did, it
yeah,
was like, whoa, okay, we've got a serious player here. So look, he knows Emery. Emery trusts him. He's playing him in his best position, and long may it continue. And if you get to an FA Cup and deep in the Champions League, and he mounts up a Premier League run, then I'm
yeah.
happy with that. But I am starting to fall in love with him. And I know he's only a lone player, but it's just like, you know, and I love his celebration.
Oh, you can't beat it.
The old phone down,
Oh, no.
bang. Yeah. So yeah.
You know what, Henry? What Emery's got to do is start his best team, start the informed players. Like we saw against Crystal Palace, you need to start the likes of Asensio and Marcus Rashford.
Yeah, just
Start your
on that
best team.
chat. Yeah, what do like when that I know we don't want to speak about Palace too much, but when that starting lineup came out, what were your thoughts?
I think I knew it's going to be a tough task. Because what I sort of didn't get, I mean, I don't really say this not many times. I think Emery got it wrong. As in play three at the back.
Yeah,
And I was surprised Asensio didn't start in that game.
agreed. Yeah, especially after the heroics against Chelsea, and I know I think he's trying to build up his minutes and he doesn't want to like burn him out, but I
Yeah.
just felt I was the same as you. I saw the lineup and I was like, why is at least it doesn't have to be Rashford and Asensio, but at least one of them, probably Asensio after he scored 2 goals.
Oh,
Why isn't he
yeah.
starting? And yeah, like you just said that again. Yeah, you're spot on with matching Palace for three at the back. It was just a bit weird. And look, we maybe it was justified because we beat Cardiff and that's what he wanted to do. Not he didn't want to lose to
Wait,
Palace, but
wait.
maybe he wanted. But I do think Palace we sort of gave the game to Palace really with our formation. And I agree with you. I think very rarely say it, but I do think Henry got it wrong, and I think he's admitted that since. He's still learning as well, and we've got new players coming in. But I was a bit disappointed when I saw the lineup, and no shade on the players that started.
Oh, yeah.
I just felt that for momentum and for the players that played the week before the match before against Chelsea, like they deserve to start. So, but onwards and upwards.
And Marcus Rashford. And once again, Marcus Rashford. He was a constant threat. I think if Rashford He looks more himself.
It's
Not
very
his normal
nice.
self.
Yeah, yeah, it's very nice to see him smiling, isn't it? And actually celebrating the goals because I mean he assisted Asensio's first goal again. Like I said, those two have got a good link up, and
Yeah,
it's just really nice to see him playing with a smile, playing with the freedom. Like he looks just free and just happy to he's been given the license to play on the left, his favorite position, and just go and do your
yeah.
thing. And he's just beating players, and obviously the whole end and the Villa faithful are just chanting him and saying his name. And I think it's just good for him. I did see a report. I don't know how legit this was. Some papers can
Yeah,
can talk a load of waffle that Rashford's apparently he's very like taken aback by how Emery is and very happy
yeah.
with the way he's a coach and sort of in awe of him really and it sounds like he may want to make the move permanent. I don't know
You know what it
how
is?
true.
He's settling in well.
Yeah, he really is, and you've got to give credit to Unai Emery for that, haven't you? Because without
You
him
have to.
wanting him to come and coaching him, then it wouldn't have happened. So um yeah, just, again, a bit like Asensio, just long may it continue. And if these two players are to be just short term and they're going to move on at the end of the season, then fair enough. And if they can get us a trophy in between now and then you know
Well,
what,
that's yeah,
you take it, don't you? You take it. So he's got to enjoy the moment really with them.
yeah. And as well, I think I was impressed with Garcia. You
Mm,
like Garcia, very good energy levels
yeah,
and constantly getting forward. He got into some great positions. You know what he does as well?
what?
A decent crosser.
Yeah,
Like, the low crosses.
yeah.
He likes to fit it in the box.
Yeah, it's nice to have I mean, I know Adinho crosses and Matty Cash does cross as well with his left foot, but it's nice to have like a sort of old school right back just bombing down to right to the byline and just
It's
crossing that
quality.
ball in. I think as well with Garcia, he just I'm really impressed with his mentality because after that mistake against Liverpool and
Yeah.
I think even against Chelsea he did something and Emery you could see Emery on the side just blasting him, really giving
Oh,
him
yeah.
something. But for a young lad to come from the second division in Spain and to try, to fit into an Emery system and to listen to Emery, and even if you're getting shouted at, I feel like he's really taking on board the advice, and I feel like he
You know
wants.
what I like as well?
What's
His
that?
maturity.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He seems like a really good, mature, mentally strong character, and I think it's important that we have more players like him. And I think I agree with you. I think he was really good. Like he's growing again every game.
Yeah.
So yeah, and shout out as well to Bogard as well. Again, I thought he was flawless.
Oh, he is excellent.
Yeah, similar sort of mentality to Garcia. They both just want to learn, and they're both taking all the information on board and seem to be really implementing it well. So yeah, I was very impressed with Garcia and Bogard as well.
You know, Emery, he likes Garcia. He's got a lot of trust in him. Emery really trusts him. And he's still young. He's only going to get better. I mean, Matty Cash. He's actually beating Matty Cash for a starting place. So who knows, at the end of the season, he's going to be Emery's first choice. There's nothing to debate.
It's a good debate. It's looking that way as well, isn't it? I think, and I think Matty Cash needed it. I think he needed not just for competition because I always say I like Matty Cash and I do rate him in many ways. I think he's done a lot for us. He's been the only really real right back we've had for a long
Yeah.
time. So it's good for him. So if he needs to have a break, so if we get a fresh Matty Cash every few games, then that's good because he's only going to play better. But then also
Competition?
for competition, yeah, exactly. I think for competition for places, it's it's healthy for the squad, and I do think that Garcia offers something different to Matty Cash, and I think Garcia is a proper. Maycash is he's a bit cute with how he plays, if that makes sense. Whereas Garcia just gets in there, gets stuck in, and he's just no nonsense. And I do like that about him. So it's good to have those options.
A few of the players that I like in the game against Cardiff are playing well. And John McGinn was very good. He was heavily involved. And he was everywhere again. And what I like about McGinn is his attitude. He never gives up. You got Yuri Tielemans. He was pulling the strings as well.
Yeah, McGinn. You know, we do you know what's? I don't think we're ever going to have a player like McGinn again because McGinn's very much a throwback player, isn't he? You know, he's a bit like
Roy Keane.
yeah, we said last week, sort of likened him to, especially against Chelsea, like he was like that sort of battle performance, a bit like a Roy Keane, and I love him for that. And I do think, you know, he really does set our tempo in the middle of the park, and
Yeah.
if he's having a good game, 9 times out of 10, Villa are having a good game, and I think he's always essential in the middle of the park. So if he can just stay fit from now until the end of the season, and we can manage him right and make sure he, you know, the only thing with him and Tielemans, you know, we could really do with Onana and Barkley, Kamara coming back soon because like they're going to feel it. And I did think Tielemans, as although he made the initial ball for Rashford, who then crossed to Asensio for the first goal. I do think Tielemans, he lost the ball a couple of times in the first half. And look, nothing against him. I think he just a bit tired and, you know, having to run back. And so I do worry about that slightly. But yeah, again, Tielemans, once he's on the ball, like even if he's not having the greatest game, his ability to pick out a pass, yeah, his vision's incredible. Incredible.
And I think Onana. I think we missed Onana. We need that type of player back. There's someone who sort of does more the defensive and the physical side of the game.
Yeah, you're right. I think because McGinn is physical. Tielemans, you know, don't get me wrong. Tielemans can put himself about. He's not afraid to go into a challenge. But you know, his strongest attribute isn't his physicality. Whereas Onana, exactly that. Chad gives us that bit. It gives us a bit more steel in the middle of the park, and I think he'll be very much welcome back when he does, because it just means that we can rotate. You know, the games are coming thick and fat. I know we've got a bit of a break in March, and I think they're going to go over to Dubai for a bit of warm weather training and stuff, which would be good for the players. And
I think
it would be needed. Yeah. But I think we just, you know, game from March onwards, it's going to be every game is a cup final. We need to really make sure we've got the full squad ready and fresh. So Onana will be very much welcome. In that.
That is the business. The business at the end of the season.
The business end of the season, yeah, it really is now. You know, and the good thing is, mate, like I know we've been frustrated with Villa and the league form, especially, has not been great, but we are still we still have a chance. It's not like it's mathematically possible, and
still do it.
We can still do it, which, you know, we just need to shut up shop a bit and sort of become, like you said earlier, be more consistent with our play. So it's not impossible. And the fact that, you know, we've come to the business end of the season and we're still in major competitions, chance for silverware, the league's not totally gone. Yeah, it's still there, mate. So we just got to believe.
Let's talk about the Club Brugge game.
Yeah.
So that's tomorrow, Tuesday night. So what do you expect?
A tough game. You know, they're no pushovers. I think you said before that they're second in the Belgian Pro League.
Yeah, that's it. Second, yeah.
You know, they're an organised team. They've just beat Atalanta in the Champions League, so they're no mugs. So I'm expecting a tough game, but like we touched on in, I think, the last week, Emery will have been at his
homework.
Exactly. his meticulous best, and I think after our defeat there, he would have taken that personally and would have really done his homework. And I'm looking forward to the game. It's always interesting to see how we, after
Yeah.
losing there, how we're now going to rectify that, how we're going to set
Or
up. So
bounce back, yeah.
they're going to be up for it. They're going to think they're going to beat us because they already have, and fair play to them. They've beat us already, so they're going to think, well, we beat them once, we can do it again. So we've got to make sure that we just start strong, and as long as we come out the first leg with something to play for. I do believe
Yeah.
that Villa Park will have the better of them. So I'm looking forward to it, but I'm cautious, mate. What about you?
Well, I think at Emery, he would do his preparation and he would have analysed where went wrong in last game because Emery's attention to detail. He'll be on his clipboard taking a lot of notes. So I think we can learn from last time. Because I think Tyrone Mings, he would have forget that, I think. Have to move on from it, but I think it will learn.
Yeah, good point. Just on Tyrone Mings, because obviously Konza's fit, Disasi's fit and can play. Do you think he'll pick Disasi over Mings?
Yeah, it'd be disaster, yeah.
Yeah, I think so too. I think Mings. I think he'll keep Mings more as a bench player, just because I don't think Mings is fully fit, and I think he's played through the pain. So I think if anything happens to Konza or Disasi, then obviously Mings will come on. But I don't think he would have started him in as many games as he has done, because obviously we just had a lot of injuries. But I agree with you. I think it will be Konza and Disasi, and I think it'd be nice if Mings could sort of get a cameo and we could win, and he sort of, yeah, like you said, sort of has that moment where he forgets about it and sort of puts it to bed. But we'll see. We'll see.
But look, see, I think as well, we need to defend better than the Crystal Palace guy.
Oh yeah.
Otherwise, we'll get punished. The big thing in this game is we need to stay in the tie. We
Yeah.
don't want to go to Villa Park with a mountain to climb. Yeah, that's what we want to do.
Yeah, and mate, you think about the Europa Conference League last season against Olympiacos, and if you remember that first leg, the semi-final we were in, the first leg.
But yes, that's semi-final, yeah.
And I forgot the player's name now, but he scored. I think what was it? We lost like 3 or 4. We conceded 3, and
4-2.
look, the game wasn't over, but like you just said, then it was a mountain to climb. So we don't want to have a repeat of that. If we can come out of Belgium with something to play for, then I do fancy us at Villa Park. I think our away form's not been great, but in the Champions League we seem to turn it on, and hopefully we've got enough. I do think Rashford and Asensio need to start though.
Okay. Marcus Rashford, he has scored a lot of Champions League goals. I mean, Marcus Rashford, somebody like him, can produce in the big moments. That's what we need.
Yeah, and I'm desperate for him to score his first goal. I really am. Like I think he's done everything right. I think his attitude, his assists, his defensive work rate, to be fair, has been good. He just needs that goal now, and I think I could see him getting his first goal being a really important one, whether it's a goal in the first leg or the winner in the second leg. I don't know, but I do think like you just said, he's got vast experience in the Champions League, and that's a good thing about playing Club Brugge this time. We didn't have these players, so we lost the game, and we shouldn't have lost the game really. I don't think we were that bad. We're just a bit flat. But now with Asensio, Rashford, Garcia in the mix now, who's a better defender. Like, I do think we've got a lot more. So yeah, there's also a bit of pressure on these players like your Rashford and Asensio's to turn up, and this is what we brought them in for these matches. So they've got to
That's the
show us
reason,
what they can do. Yeah.
Don't go watch your Club Brugge is. Club Brugge, they like to break quickly. So if they're high line, we've got to make sure we don't get caught out. I did say they're very good in the wide areas as well. And on the outside the box, they do like to shoot from distance. So I think closing down, that's going to be important as well.
Does that worry you a bit, Chad? Because I know we spoke about last week after the was it Chelsea where
Was it
the first
Chelsea?
half
Yeah.
where we were so narrow and their wingers had a field day, and like you just said, then with Club Brugge, they break fast and they've got good wingers. Is that an area that you think is a bit of a concern, or do you think Emery will
A
be
little bit, I think.
on it?
I think that all you need to do as well. I think, like, you look back to the Crystal Palace guy. We didn't have enough width.
No.
We need to have more width, I think.
Yeah. No, I totally agree, and I think that's been our sort of downfall, or a problem for us for a lot of this season. Is we know that Emery likes to play narrow and through the lines, and that's great, and that works in most times. But there's those moments or those games where we've got to shake it up, and I think it hasn't helped that Bailey's not been at his best this season, because last season he was a good outlet for us on that wing, and he allowed us to sort of attack. Hopefully now with Rashford, and Rodgers, depending on where he plays, Garcia as well as the right back does like to sort of touch the hog the sort of the touch line, so that also creates width. So yeah, hopefully he sees that as a potential and utilizes that. But yeah, look, Club Brugge, that their manager sets it well. That they're well disciplined, well structured. So a bit like Cardiff, I do think there's going to be an element of patience that we're going to have in the game.
Oh yeah.
And we're going to have to try and break them down.
I suppose, like, really, even if you got a draw, that wouldn't be a bad result.
No.
Because then you get a draw and take it back to Villa Park. I think it's more like we can't afford to lose the game.
Yeah, exactly that. We can't lose, and I think if we come out of Belgium with a draw, I'll be very happy. Like I say, they're a good side. They've been in the Champions League more than we have, so I believe so. They're well respected in the competition, so they know it. And I think if we can come out there with a draw, that's credible, and it just means that we go back to Villa Park, and like we've just said, I think with the Villa Park faithful, we can beat anybody. So ideally
Watkins, let's give Watkins this. I think as much as possible. We know Watkins, he likes to stretch defenders. I also think set pieces, that could be crucial. We need to be a bit more creative with our set pieces, I think. Take advantage of it.
Yeah. I think it's going. Your first point about Ollie Watkins. Yeah, he needs a goal now. I think he's as always. Ollie Watkins.
For his confidence.
Yeah. He adds a lot more to his game than just goals, and he's always in some way or other, he's always involved in a goal. I feel, whether it's assisting or whether
even when he don't score.
Yeah, he'll either assist or he creates a space for a player to run into who then scores. Like, he's always around. So again, it's no shade on Ollie Watkins, but I did feel against Palace there was 2 or 3 chances which he sort of snatched at, and like Ollie of last season you feel like he would have been a bit more confident in his application of shooting, and I just feel that a goal. He's just due a goal, and I think, like you said, then his confidence will take a bit of a rise, and hopefully then he can go on a run because Ollie Watkins has a habit of scoring one goal, but then going on a bit of a run. So hopefully this end of the
He
season
holds the ball.
he can
He
just
holds the
score.
ball up.
Yeah. The good thing is, though, as well, it's not just about him now. It's like we're not relying on him. We've got so many more options
No.
with Rashford, Asensio, Rodgers, Ramsey. Players are chipping in now. So at least it's not just on his shoulders. But I agree with you. I think a goal will do him the world of good. Yeah.
He also got Ramsey. I think Morgan Rodgers. They won't get the team getting forward. We need to use our ball carriers in the game tomorrow night. We need to utilise Rodgers and Ramsey.
Yeah. I think, and that's such a unique skill that they offer. I think. Yeah, because once Rodgers gets and Ramsey, like you said, to be fair, both of them, once they get going with that ball and they're just running, it's so hard for defenders to get
Trying to
forward.
get the team.
Yeah, it's such an intimidating thing as a defender when you've got players who are confident just to run at you, and you're trying to jockey them, but they're going one way or the other way, and yeah, I think that's a really good point. I think that'll be a really good threat against them. And hopefully, Rodgers is feeling fresh and fit after only playing, 10 or so minutes.
He got a good rest.
Yeah, and he's needed it, hasn't he? We've been saying this for a while.
A lot of minutes.
And also Ramsey was a sub as well, wasn't he? So they both. It's going to be. I think Rodgers will definitely start. I'm unsure.
Ramsey played well.
Yeah, he
against
did.
Crystal Palace. Okay.
He did. Yeah, I'm unsure whether he'll start Ramsey or Rashford though.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
I'm
I'll
not
go
too.
with Rashford.
I would go with Rashford as well. I just don't know because he rested Ramsey. Was he resting him because he wanted him to start this game and then bring Rashford on?
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah,
I don't quite know with Emery what he's thinking, but we'll see. I would like Rashford to start. I think he's, and Ramsey's been good. He's not long come back from a long-term injury. He's starting to get into the rhythm of things. He's looking good, but I would like to see Rashford start now that he's sort of, because of how impactful he's been in the last few games. I think he's due a start, and if he can sort of, if we can go to Club Brugge and like kill the game off in a few minutes, like if we can score 2 or 3 goals, like, then do you know what? Like that'd be amazing, and we've got the firepower to do it. It's just it's just a tough ask, isn't it? But that would be an ideal situation.
I'm going towards the end of the podcast. But I just want to make a few more points. So, which Club Brugge players should we keep an eye on?
I know they've got. I mean, yeah, I think him. I always look at the goalkeeper. I think and I know
Mignolet.
I think Mignolet, because of his experience and because of he had a good career in the Prem. I think he's going to be he's not going to be easy to score past, but also I think he'll be quite good at organising and galvanising the team from the back.
Liverpool?
Yeah, Liverpool. Yeah, so I think he's got good experience and knowledge, and he wasn't always the greatest for Liverpool, but he was playing for Liverpool. You can't be bad. So he's one. The player you just mentioned, what's his name?
Vanaken.
Yeah, I like him.
Good at Vanaken. He scored against Villa last time for the penalty.
Yeah. Yeah, he did. Yeah, because was that him? Yeah, it was, wasn't it? Yeah. They've got another winger as well who's what's his name? Yeah.
He's got these pace there. He won't cause the fullbacks problems.
Yeah, and again, that's what we're saying. About our, sort of us playing narrow and our width. I think that's the area we've got to be careful of, and I think Dinya will probably start alongside. I think Garcia will
Always
probably
go with
start.
Dinya.
I know Garcia can't. No, Garcia can't play, can he? He's not in the squad, is he? He's not in the Champions League squad.
Oh yeah, all right. No, he's not. No, he's not
Um,
in there.
so it would be well, if Cash is fit, it will be Cash, won't it? There's obviously as well Nilsson, Boyata. A few names that I can think of that are going to be ones to watch as such. So I think all around their squad they've got decent players. They've always got they've got players of
They're a
experience.
good squad.
Yeah, they are. They're a good squad, and they're coached well. So
Do you know much about their manager, Nicky Hyan? What's your
um,
thoughts on him?
I mean, I'm impressed. I mean, anyone that's won, he won. Didn't he win the
The
championship?
Belgian Pro League.
Yeah.
He won a championship, yeah,
So I mean,
before.
anybody who's won something, any manager that's won a trophy, like in a decent, competitive division, like I always find, that they're not going to be any pushovers. And I think he's young as well. Is he 40? Is he 44?
I'd say that, yeah.
So I think I'm impressed with him, and I think the one thing I was impressed with when we played them the first time, I thought they set up really well, and I thought they were just very well structured, and that was obviously down to him. So yeah, I'm impressed with him, and the fact that they just beat Atalanta, who I thought in the Champions League were a real force, and I thought we were gonna be playing Atalanta, not Club
Yeah.
Brugge. So for them to go and beat them over two legs, I thought, fair play. So that takes a lot of coaching, a lot of homework for the manager. So I'm impressed with him, mate. What about you?
Yeah. I was doing some research. He's managed in Wales before
In
with
Wales? Oh wow.
Haverford. It's called Haverford,
Okay,
West
yeah.
County, in 2022. And he plays like flexible possession based on the play. And what he likes to do is emphasise strong defensive organisation.
Yeah. And we saw that, didn't we, when we played them the first time? That's interesting. I did not know he had managed in Wales. That's a good fact. That is, Chad. That's some good research there. And obviously he was an ex-player. I know he played. Do you know who he played for? Anybody of significance or?
I don't really know what sort of teams he played for. I did see that you think he played in Holland before.
Okay.
And what he likes to do, he's got a solid defensive base.
Mm-hmm.
He likes like possession, orientated build-up play.
Yeah.
He likes his transition attacking. And like we just mentioned, he likes his team to have good wingers. So
Yeah.
he's a good coach. Did a decent
Yeah.
job.
I always find it fascinating when you've got, because Emery for us is a very, meticulous coach and very much a tactician. And I always find it fascinating when we come up against coaches who are equally as, I know arguably all managers are tactical, have that sort of nous about them. But I do feel that there's other managers like, for example, this guy at Club Brugge, the fact that he's beat Emery once, we know that Emery will be taking that very personally. And I think, but also probably respects him. I think there's a respect there from him to think, well, you beat us once, and okay, yeah, you could argue that the handball was a bit of a freak situation, but he, for him to still set up the way he did, and for them to hold us and beat us, like credit to the manager. So I do think Emery will go into it with a feeling of got to respect this guy because he knows how to set up a team. So it'll be fascinating to see
Well,
how we get
well,
on.
let's get on the screen. Club Brugge
Oh, nice.
current form. Yeah, let's have a look at it.
Oh, wow, cool.
So we got all competitions. So we got played 28,
Hmm.
won 15, obviously drew 8, and lost 5. Then we got our Champions League form. Played 10, obviously won 5, drew 2, and lost 3. So what do you make of that form? They're all second in the Pro League as
I
well.
think, yeah, mate, they've got very good form actually. I mean, to only lose 3 in the championship, so I mean, you know, that's a total of what? So they've played in total over 2 competitions at 38 games, and then so within 38 games they've only lost 8. That's
Not a bad record.
that's not a bad record, mate. And you know, I don't know how they are at home compared to away, but we're not great away. So, look, it's going to be a tough game, mate. You know, you get this deep into any competition, and the games are going to be
Yeah.
tough. The You know, I do respect them, and I think the fact they've beat us already shows, you know, they're no pushovers, they're no mugs. So, looking at that, I'm glad you got that graphic because it really breaks it
Yeah.
down. It's a lot easier for me to understand, and I think that. Yeah, it's going to be tough,
Yeah.
mate. I mean, I thought it was going to be tough anyway, but now seeing that, I'm like, yeah, no, it's going to be. But they can lose. They can lose, and like we
And
said,
we got Unai Emery.
and we have Unai Emery, spot on. So I think look, I am quite confident. I think just because we're starting to get our squad starting to look more together, and the new players are starting to
Yeah.
gel, players are coming back, so there is a bit of a confidence there. But I do respect them.
And we have played them before.
Yeah. That's the other
Yeah.
thing as well. That's the other thing that you made. Yeah, good point. We played them before, and like we know what to expect from their stadium, from their fans. You know, it's not like this new tie. We're like, okay, we don't know about this team. We don't know the fans. Is it going to be hostile? We're
Hostile
prepared.
atmosphere and all that. Yeah.
So we've got to use that. You know, we've been there before. We know what to expect. Let's go again. And also, a lot of our players are going to want revenge. Let's go and get them this time.
Oh,
You know, we shouldn't have
that's
lost
what
that
we need to
game.
do.
So yeah, very interesting graphic.
Yeah,
Glad you showed me that.
it's all to play for. They're the partner, so it's all to play for.
Yep. Are you going to try and get to the second leg?
I've got tickets for it.
Oh, mate,
So
buzzing.
I can't wait.
Buzzing. That'd be good. That'd be very good fun.
Well, before we go, Aaron,
Yep.
what are your score predictions? What are you going to go for this game?
I'm always so wrong with these. I'm going to go with an optimistic 2-0 to the Villa.
I like it. We're going to have some good positivity.
Good positivity, clean sheet again. Let's do it.
Well, I've gone for a 1-1 draw.
Yeah, that's
But then
realistic.
I think we would do enough in the second leg.
Yeah, that's fair, and I think that's very realistic as well. That's a
Well,
good
I
one.
really enjoyed that podcast. It was
Likewise,
great
mate.
as well. And Gregg Evans at the beginning.
Yeah, making the cameo. Love that.
Well, yeah, well, thank you.
Thank you
Thank
for
you,
having me,
everyone,
Chad.
for watching. Thank you, everyone, for watching. If you enjoyed this podcast, please remember to make sure to subscribe. Make sure to hit the like button. Make sure to give it a share. And if you're listening via audio, give us a good review on our audio platforms, including Apple and Spotify. Also, let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Thank you so much, Aaron, for your time.
Mate, thank you for having me. It's I honestly love these episodes, and it's like I say, it's always good to have our weekly therapy sessions, whether it's positive or negative about the Villa. It just helps. So always a pleasure.
Well, I'm going to wrap up this episode with Villa forever and up the Villa.